Hi, this is Jet. I'm making this video for friends who ask, where do I start with Gundam? And most especially this friend, who I appreciate and watches more anime than me, and is very patient when I rant about Gundam. So if you're interested in what Gundam actually is, or where to start, this video is made for you, exclusively for you, not them. Please don't tell them All of these are chosen because they don't really require knowledge of other shows. Most of the shows are all self-contained. Here are 5 on-roads to getting into one of the biggest franchises in the world. At the end, I'll give my personal thoughts about what route you should choose and why I'm correct. I'm writing this in 2023. There's a Gundam show airing. It's called Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch From Mercury. This show needs no knowledge of other Gundam media. None. Zero. It is the most accessible program they've made. Writer Ichiro Okuchi set out to create something specifically targeted at newcomers. In that regard, the show is brilliant. The animation is good, the characters diverse and charming. It's a school drama, filled with duels and dates, rather than dour military destruction. It has a cool hyper-capitalist setting where Earthborns are oppressed, legal disputes are settled with ritualized combat, and I cannot get enough of it. Soletta and her bride Miorne are outstanding. Music is also great. It's not finished, but what we have after one season is very strong. This is a chance to get in on the ground floor, watching it week to week with a rapidly growing fanbase. Season 1 weaves a spell of darkness and style and earnest feelings. Watch The Witch if you want to get a fresh start with the biggest, most popular Gundam release in many years. But maybe you want something new that you can already binge. Well, I got great news. It exists. It's called Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. This 2015 release is very much a modern anime, and it's great. Its world draws on the likes of Dune and Warhammer, with ornate designs inspired by medieval knights and mercenaries. The narrative is sad and superlative, and the characters have stupendously defined arcs. But the 2010s had a lot of great action anime. This one tries to be more. Gundam usually focuses on young people in combat, but IBO goes deep and interrogates that violence. It explicitly shows the price that combat carries. Most especially, it examines how someone can be a perpetrator of deep trauma as well as a victim. It's available both subbed and dubbed, and both versions are great. The year is 1979. You turn on Nagoya Broadcasting Network. You're confronted with something different. It looks like a Technicolor Vision from hell. It sounds like a discotheque. It smells of cigarettes, crunch, and burnt plastic. It's a color you've never seen before. It's the original Mobile Suit Gundam. It's the series that started it all. It's like Star Wars in Japan, a story about trauma and war and communication, all in a show that was supposed to sell new toys to kids every week. Mobile Suit Gundam is weird, wonderful, and sometimes a real downer. The soundtrack is excellent. It's the series that started it all, so even with dated or confusing elements, it's an important touchstone for the subculture. If you want to watch it, there are 2 main versions. The show aired in 43 episodes, which are available subtitled or dubbed. My preferred way, though, is the 3 compilation movies titled Mobile Suit Gundam, and then Soldiers of Sorrow, and Encounters in Space. They're subtitled in Japanese, but there are weird dub versions floating around as well. They summarize the most interesting plot points and cut out some filler. You do lose some of the character development and pacing, but you get a much more concise experience. And if you make it to the 3rd, you get treated to some gorgeous new animation and plot that lets the series make its thesis loud and clear. If you liked Mobile Suit Gundam, you can continue the traditionalist route. Next up, we've got Zeta Gundam. It's the Empire Strikes Back to Mobile Suit's A New Hope. Series creator Yoshiyuki Tomino is in full force here. The pain of his failures, the development of his own philosophy, the team's talents for animation and design, all of them combined into something really special. Zeta Gundam is 1-part remake, 3-part sequel. It finishes the statement started in 1979. The protagonist, likable and nuanced. The designs, abundant. The sexual politics, bonkers. The finale, devastating yet perfect. Also, the soundtrack is excellent. Zeta is sometimes regarded as Tomino's best, and for good reason. The show aired in 1985 in 50 episodes, which are available with subtitles or an unsatisfying English dub. If you want to save time, you can also watch 3 compilation movies, Heir to the Stars, Lovers, and Pulse of the Stars. These are okay, but they're packing too much plot into 2-hour films. I do like them, and they have an astonishing amount of very pretty new animation, but just, it's not the same. They're subtitled only, and the pacing is a little brisk. Hey, are you still on the traditionalist route? There's a lot more. Double Zeta is a sequel show to Zeta, and while it's not as well loved, it's got some great stuff in there. Subs only, another 47 episodes, no movie versions, but there's stuff to like, especially if you're already bought in. It's optional, but good. And finally, there's Char's Counterattack. This is the period to end the sentence. This is Tomino's thesis, turned in and ready for your perusal. A theatrical film from 1988. It's a titanic achievement. I love it, and I could talk about it at length, but it kinda needs knowledge of the original and rewards knowledge of the Zetas. This outline is for you if you want a multi-course meal. It's too much food, and the flavors are all over the place, and you'll think about it for years afterwards. It's a story about communication, told with giant robots. It's really weird. It's the original Gundam, and I love it. In Japan, Playmo refers to plastic model kits. Gunpla refers to Gundam plastic model kits. In the beginning, there were no models, just very, very bad toys. But these plastic people have been just as much a part of the shows. Gunpla kits do not require paint or glue, just some clippers, maybe some sanding tools and a hobby knife. It's surprisingly cheap, with model kits ranging from $12 to $25 US. I don't need you to get into Gundam stuff. A part of me doesn't want you to get into Gundam stuff. You should be outside, playing with your friends, shooting basket sports into goalposts. But if you'd like models and hobby stuff, then buying the toys is fun. It's perfectly acceptable. I'll judge with leniency, compared to Funko Pop collectors, who I judge with extreme prejudice. Bandai knows people like these toys. They'll make billions of dollars. Gundam is like the 15th biggest media franchise on the planet because Asia buys a lot of 1/144 scale robots. I mean, come on, Bandai made not 1, but 2 animated series that are just about people buying and building Gundam kits. Lots of people don't like the shows but do like the toys, or vice versa. If you like building stuff, go to your local Target or hobby store. Buy an entry grade or high grade and some clippers and relax with something tactile. This route is for hobbyists, puzzle lovers, and builders of all ages. Turn A Gundam is the best. It doesn't have many toys. It looks and sounds very different from other anime. And it is the finest the franchise has to offer. In the late 90s, Gundam was struggling. Shows were getting canceled. Toy sales were down. The original creator, Tomino, returns after a decade-long hiatus. He's a changed man, thanks to his wife and daughters. It's a queer gambit, an unexpected story, and a far cry from contemporary releases. It's Turn A Gundam. It's a joint venture between outstanding creative minds. Sid Mead, the industrial designer responsible for the likes of Blade Runner, Aliens, Tron, and Star Trek, designed the mecha. Akiman, character designer on Street Fighter, designed the characters. The music, a collaborative effort with Yoko Kanno, the woman responsible for some of the best music in animation. Turn A is an expression of healing. It's a story about masculinity and femininity, and breaking down the binaries and barriers that we impose on ourselves. It embraces humanity's tragedy and mistakes because pain is just a part of growth. True understanding requires vulnerability. It's criminally underrated and unknown in the West. It inspires derision from those who want a straightforward military story. It explores the legacy of this cartoon that set out to make war feel traumatic and ended up glorifying it. It is the best. It is fearless. It is significantly more rewarding if you have watched other Gundam material, but if you're only ever going to watch one, maybe this is the one. It's the goal at the end of the rainbow, the grail to the castle, the last Gundam show. The 40-something episodes are available subtitled and in HD. I would strongly avoid the compilation films. They are just not paced well. You can also start literally wherever you want. Just go with what's on your streaming services of choice. You got Crunchyroll? You got Netflix? There's probably some Gundam on there. Do you have fond memories of a Gundam show? Check it out, see if it holds up. Fair warning, probably doesn't. Maybe you could try out the weird and very pretty 2022 film, Kokuro's Doen's Island. You ever hear of Afterwar Gundam X? Nobody has, but I like it. It's very 90s. You ever hear of Stardust Rebellion? Again, nobody has. You gotta read the fan translation. What about Gundam Y? I made it up. You can't watch it. I might suggest avoiding Gundam Wing and Gundam Seed. Many millennials have nostalgia associated with them, but they're both pretty long. They are absolutely bonkers and not great, respectively. You wanna watch G Gundam? Do it. You wanna watch Reconquista in G? Do it. You want to watch Grendizer, not a Gundam, also good, do it. I once forced my friends to watch War in the Pocket, a 6-episode miniseries that I edited into one movie. They didn't hate it. That supercut is floating around online with an extra introduction from me. 2022 was a good year for me, in part because I was able to declare, I like this. It's not some indie darling, it's a commercialized giant. But it means something to me. I spoke about it at parties. I cried to strangers about the ending of Zeta. I bought kits from a terrible website that inexplicably sold the plastic toys that I craved. There's one thing I can say about this meta franchise. Its soul is not weighed down by gravity. The best shows, the ones I recommended, strain against the fabric of their very being. They aspire to loftier ideas and concepts, even while shackled within a subgenre of a niche medium. That is commendable. I hope all creatives can aim their sights so high. It would be great for me if people watched Turn A or the original run, but those are real commitments. I think you should probably just start with the recent stuff, and if you like it, keep going. There's 40 plus years of mecha if you want to traverse the course of history. This is a long path to walk. At times, it is harsh and unrelenting. But the sights inspire me to be more than I am and to raise my eyes. You're always welcome to join me. This is the end of the video, but if you want me to dive into the worlds and history behind one or more of these, join my Patreon or leave a comment. I've recently committed to some exciting new goals, and I think there's room for war games and weird stuff like this as well. Leave an honest comment for what you think of this little excursion. Thank you again for watching.